हाँ tendering procedure केटा हो हाँ Following are the tendering procedure. Number one, preparation of tender document. Number two, issue of notice inviting tender or tender call notice. Number three, submission and opening of tender and their scrutiny. Opening of tender. Number four, acceptance of tender and award of contract. यो भनेको procurement cycle, that is purchasing cycle जस्तै हो भनेको सुरुमा preparation of bidding documents अनि त्यस पछाडि PQ प्री क्वालिफिकेसन युआई त्यस पछाडि आरएफपी रिक्वेस्ट फर प्रपोजल भनेको टेन्डर नोटिस कल नोटिस त्यस्तै सबमिसन एन्ड ओपनिङ अफ बिटर इभ्यालुएसन अनि सेलेक्सन अफ लोएस्ट इभ्यालुएटेड सब्सटेन्सियली रेस्पोन्सिभ बिडर त्यस पछाडि भनेको लेटर अफ इन्टेन्ट एन्ड लेटर अफ एक्सेप्टेन्स एन्ड एग्रिमेन्ट एन्ड त्यस पछाडि भनेको एग्रिमेन्ट अफ द कन्ट्र्याक्ट पोस्ट अनि त्यस पछाडि भनेको पर्फर्मेन्स कन्ट्र्याक्ट एग्रिमेन्ट अनि अपरेसन इम्प्लिमेन्टेसन त्यस पछाडि भनेको पोस्ट रिभ्यू सो बेसिकली वान tendering procedure. Number one, preparation of bidding documents or tender documents. Number two, issue of the notice. Number three, submission and opening of tenders and evaluations. Number four, acceptance and award of contract. Tender is an offer writing by the tenderer owner person firm who offers the tender to execute some specified work or to supply some specified goods at certain rate. Tender notice is the information inviting bids from competent and capable contractors, firms, providers. Preparation before inviting the tender. Number one, preparation of project. Two, quantity estimation. Three, cost estimation. Four, approval of cost estimate from concerned authority. Five, resource planning. Six, tender documents preparation and approval. This is the tender documents preparation steps. Preparation of project, estimation of cost, quantity estimation, approval cost from concerned authority of the firm, organization or the person, and resource planning and tender documents preparation and approval. This is the contract document preparation. Uh, Preparation, yes. Tender procedures. Tender is writing by the tender holder, tenderer, owner. The person offers to the execute some specified work. Tender notice is the information inviting bids from competent, capable contractors. Notice and contract document. When the tender of a contractor is accepted, when a tender of a contractor is accepted, an agreement between the contractor and the owner takes place and the documents defining the rights and obligations of the owner and the contractor are attached to the agreement bond, and this is called contract document. Each page of the contract document bears signature of the contractor and accepting. The contract document contain title page, index page, tender notice, tender form, schedule of issue of materials, drawing, specifications. Conditions of contract. The following are the conditions of contract document. Are the priority forming the contract documents. Contract agreement, letter of acceptance, contractor's bid, special condition contract, general condition contract, specification drawing, bill of quantity, addenda. Agenda हो क्या general condition of contract, special condition contract, specification drawing, bill of quantity, contract agreement, a negotiated and usually legal enforceable understanding between two more legally competent parties. Although a binding contract can result from an agreement typically document and documents The give and take of negotiated settlement a contract is by the minimum acceptable standard performance. Contract agreement type. Contract agreements vary. Could have several modifications depending on the contract being executed. For example, express, executed, conditional types of contract agreement types. Agreements type express, executed, conditional contract depending on the nature of the work executed depending upon the contract being executed. Following are the examples of agreement types. Contract agreement, contract agreement types. Contract contract agreement, tendering, a procurement procedures, procurement cycle. Contract document is includes this all conditions of contract and this all. Contract agreement types: express, executed, conditional. 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 Contract agreement type depending upon the nature of the work to be executed and the several modifications. Consent of due influence, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, coercion, company registration. Company registration, business organization. Business. It is the human activity that are related with production of goods and services or sales and purchase of goods. Law. It is the norms that are drafted and enforced by state or local government in order to regulate the activities within the state or locality. Sources of business law in Nepal. English business law, common law of England, law of merchants, principle of equality, statute of legislature, custom and uses, Nepalese Statutory Act, judicial decision, writing and opinions of scholars and commercial treaties, types of business enterprises, sole business concern, partnership business organization, company business organization, sole business partnership and company business organization. Public limited company. A public limited company is a company that has permission to issue registers securities to the general public through an initial public offering and it is traded on at least one stock exchange market. Advantages of public limited company. Members, limited liability, board of directors, transparency, capital, transferable shares. Disadvantage of limited public limited company: prospectus expensive, equity dilution, loss of management control, increased regulatory oversight, enhanced reporting requirements, increased liability. Private limited company. A private limited company is a business entity that is held by private owners. This type of entity limits the owner's liability to their ownership stake and restricts shareholders from public trading share. Advantage: members, limited liability, perpetual succession, prospects, number of directors, capital. Disadvantage of private company limited. The share in a private limited company cannot be sold or transferred to anyone unless other shareholders agree on the same. There is no option to invite public to subscribe to the shares. It is mandatory that you should mention private limited at the end of your company name. Difference between private and public limited company. Features: minimum members for public 7, private 2. Minimum is directors 3 for public, 2 private. Maximum members unlimited in public limited company, 200 in private. Minimum capital NRS 5 lakhs, NRS 10 lakh. Invitation to public, yes in public, no in private. Issue of prospectus, yes, no. Quorum at AGM 5 members, 2 members. Certificate for commencement of business, yes, no. Terms used at the end of name, limited, private limited. Managerial remuneration, no restriction, cannot exceed more than 11% of net profit. Statutory meeting, mandatory, yes, no. Uh, these are the general of company registration, public and private company limited. Public limited company advantages. Member, in order for a company to be public, it should have minimum member of 7 members. Limited liability. The liability of public company is limited. No shareholder is individually liable for the payment. Board of directors. A public company is led by a board of directors. It should have minimum of 3 and can have maximum 15 board of directors. Transparency. Limited companies are strictly regulated and are required by law to publish their complete financial statement annually to ensure the true financial position of the company is made clear to their owners, shareholders, and potential investors in public limited company. Capital. A public company can raise capital from the public. Transferable shares. A public limited company shares are purchased and sold on the market. Advantage of public limited company and advantage of private limited company. Members. Minimum member 7 in public. Minimum member 2 and maximum 200 as per provisions of the Company Act 2013 in private. Limited liability. The liability of public company is limited. The liability of each shareholder or member is limited. This means that if the company runs into a loss, the company shareholders are liable to sell their company share to clear the debt or liability in private. Board of directors minimum 3, maximum 15 in public. In private, board of directors minimum 2. Transparency. Public limited companies are strictly regulated and are required by law publish their complete financial statements. Transparent, but not in private. Capital. A public company can raise capital from the public by issuing shares through stock market. Minimum share capital required is only Rs 1 lakh in private. So, as a whole, for public and private company limited, the difference between public and private company limited is enough. Company registration as a business organization under the different laws: English business law, common law of England, law of merchants, judicial decision, Nepalese Statutory Act for the different types of enterprises, sole business, partnership, company business are done. And there will be two types of business organization: public and private. Company limited, public company limited, private company limited. Private limited, limited.